Captain stood on the bridge of the Horizon Dawn and stared at the viewing screen. His hands gripped the armrests of his command chair. The stars looked different here, far from Earth. They had traveled for 3 months to reach this system, and now something was approaching them. "Captain, I'm detecting a massive energy signature," said from her station. She was the chief science officer, and her eyes were fixed on her monitors. "It's not natural. Something is coming toward us." Moved closer to the tactical console. As the security chief, he always prepared for danger. "Weapons ready, sir." "Not yet," replied. "We came here to explore, not to fight. Let's see what we're dealing with first." The ship that appeared on their screen was unlike anything humans had ever built. It was enormous, at least 5 times larger than the Horizon Dawn. Its surface gleamed with strange metals that seemed to shift colors. Lights pulsed along its hull in patterns that hurt to look at. "They're hailing us," reported. "The signal is, Captain, they're using hundreds of communication frequencies at once. They want to make sure we can understand at least one of them." "Show them we're receiving," ordered. "Open a channel." The screen flickered. An alien face appeared. Had imagined this moment for years, but nothing prepared him for the reality. The being had 6 eyes arranged in a circle around its face. Its skin looked like polished green stone. When it spoke, mechanical translation software struggled to keep up. "Greetings, unknown vessel. I am ambassador of the Galactic Council. You have entered Council space. Identify yourselves immediately." Stood up, he straightened his uniform. "I am captain of the human starship Horizon Dawn. We come from Earth, a planet in a system you probably call Sol 3. We come in peace." His eyes widened, all 6 of them. "Human, we have no record of your species in our database. How did you achieve faster-than-light travel? What is your council designation?" "We don't have one," said carefully. "We discovered the principles of faster-than-light travel ourselves about 30 years ago. We've been exploring slowly, mapping nearby systems. This is our first contact with other intelligent life." There was a long pause. Seemed to be communicating with someone off-screen. When he turned back, his expression was difficult to read, but he seemed confused. "Captain, you claim your species developed space travel independently, without council guidance or technology transfer." "That's correct." "Impossible. Our records show that your planet is a Class 12 death world. No species has ever evolved to sentience on a Class 12 world. The environmental pressures are too extreme." Leaned toward and whispered, "Death world, what does that mean?" Raised his voice. "Ambassador, what exactly is a death world?" "A planet with extreme danger to life," explained. "Your world has predators, diseases, weather patterns, and tectonic activity that should prevent complex civilization. Most council species evolved on Class 3 or Class 4 worlds. Safe worlds, stable worlds." Snorted, "He thinks Earth is dangerous. We tamed it." Continued, "Furthermore, our historical data indicates your species used chemical rockets for initial space exploration. Chemical combustion. You strapped yourselves to controlled explosions and hoped for survival." "We still do sometimes," said with a slight smile. "It works." "It's insane," replied flatly. "Every council species needed anti-gravity technology to escape there. You used brute force. This is unprecedented." "Ambassador, we'd like to learn more about the Galactic Council," said. "We've been alone for a long time. We're ready to meet our neighbors." His image flickered. "I must consult with the High Council. Please remain in this location. Do not approach any council planets or stations. We will send a delegation to study you." "Study us," muttered, "like we're animals." Before could respond, added, "One more question, Captain. Your vessel appears to have weapons. Why would an exploration ship carry weapons?" Chose his words carefully. "Where we come from, it's better to have weapons and not need them than to need them and not have them. We've learned that lesson many times in our history." You expect conflict. We hope for peace, but we prepare for reality. His eyes closed slowly, one by one. Your species is either very wise or very dangerous, perhaps both. We will speak again soon. The transmission ended. The bridge of the Horizon Dawn fell silent, was the first to speak. Captain, I've been analyzing their ship. The technology is at least 1,000 years ahead of ours, maybe more, if they decide we're a threat. They could destroy us easily, finished. I know, but we can't show fear. We represent all of humanity right now. Moved to stand beside his captain. Sir, if they've been traveling space for thousands of years, why haven't they found Earth before? Good question. Maybe they weren't looking. Maybe they thought nothing could survive there. For 3 days, the Horizon Dawn waited. The crew maintained their routine, but tension filled every corridor. Spent her time preparing a complete history of humanity. If the Council wanted to understand them, she would give them the full story. The wars, the diseases, the extinctions, the survival. On the 4th day, a massive Council station appeared. It was a city in space, with dozens of different ship designs docked at its ports. Had never seen anything so beautiful and so terrifying. Ambassador returned to the screen, but he wasn't alone. Behind him stood representatives of species from across the galaxy. Some looked like plants, others resembled geometric shapes. One appeared to be made entirely of light. Captain began, the Council has debated your species for 3 days. We have examined the information your science officer provided. Your history is shocking. We've had a difficult past, admitted, but we survived. You didn't just survive, another alien said. This one had a voice like grinding metal. You thrived. You conquered your world. You split the atom. You eliminated diseases. You reached for the stars despite every reason to stay cowering in your caves. We don't cower, said quietly. Spoke again. The Council is divided. Some believe you should be quarantined, kept away from other species for everyone's safety. Others believe you could be valuable allies. The galaxy faces threats you don't yet know about. We don't accept quarantine, said firmly. We didn't travel across the stars to be locked in a cage. We want to be partners, equals. Before could respond, alarms blared across the Council station. The aliens on the screen scattered in panic. His face showed pure fear. All ships, emergency. Colony 7 is under attack. The swarm has broken through our defenses. They're slaughtering everyone. Looked at his crew, nodded, was already powering up weapons. The captain turned back to the screen. Ambassador, give us the coordinates. We're going to help. But you're just one small ship with primitive weapons. You'll die. Maybe, said, but we don't abandon people who need help. That's what it means to be human. The Horizon Dawn dropped out of faster-than-light travel above Colony 7. What saw made his stomach turn. The planet below was burning. Hundreds of alien ships swarmed around it like insects. They were black and sharp, covered in what looked like organic armor. That's the swarm, his voice came through the communication system. His ship had followed them along with 3 other Council vessels. They're a hive species. They attack worlds, take resources, and move on. The Council has been retreating from them for 5 years. Retreating, asked, you don't fight back. Fight back against that, sounded horrified. They outnumber us. They're willing to die. No rational species fights when retreat is an option. Studied the tactical display. Analysis. Worked quickly at her station. The ships are fast, but their armor is weak. They rely on numbers, not quality. Captain, if we can disrupt their formation, the Council ships might have a chance. Lieutenant, prepare your Marines for ground deployment, ordered into his communication panel. We're going down there. In the ship's Marine bay, Lieutenant checked her rifle. She was young but had trained for combat since she was 18. Behind her, 30 Marines prepared their equipment. They wore powered armor, carried weapons designed to kill, and wore expressions of cold determination. "Listen up," shouted. "We're going into hell. The enemy is some kind of bug species that kills everything in their path. The aliens we're helping have probably never seen ground combat. We need to show them how Earth does it." One of her Marines, a big man named, raised his hand. "Lieutenant here, I heard these bugs make the council species run away. Why are we different?" Smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. "Because we're from Earth, Marine. We're the species that looked at saber-toothed tigers and said, 'I want that as a pet.' We're the species that survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. These bugs are about to learn what a death world species can do." The Marines roared their approval, loaded his medical supplies along with his rifle. As a combat medic, he carried the tools to save lives and take them. The Horizon Dawn shook as it entered the atmosphere. Fighters swarmed toward them but was ready. The ship's weapons fired in precise patterns. Human weapons weren't as powerful as Council technology, but they were faster, more aggressive. They weren't prepared for prey that attacked. "Dropping in 30 seconds, the pilot announced. And her Marines loaded into drop pods. These were simple metal capsules that would fall straight through the atmosphere and crash into the ground. Most species considered them suicidal. Humans considered them efficient. "See you on the ground," shouted as her pod launched. The fall was violent. The pod shook and screamed. Inside counted seconds. At the last moment, rockets fired to slow the descent. The pod hit the ground hard enough to crack the metal. The door blew off and rolled out with her rifle ready. She was in the middle of a colony city. Buildings burned around her. Alien civilians ran in panic, and everywhere the swarmed. They looked like a nightmare mix of insect and machine. They stood on 4 legs, had bladed arms, and made clicking sounds that hurt to hear. "Marines, form up," ordered. Around her, the other pods landed. Her team emerged ready for war. They noticed them. A group of 20 bugs turned and charged. They moved fast, their blades gleaming. "Fire," commanded. The Marines opened fire with automatic weapons. The sound was deafening. Bullets tore through armor like paper. The bugs fell, but more came, always more. "They don't stop," one Marine shouted. "Neither do we," fired in controlled bursts. "Push forward. We need to reach the civilian shelters." Above them, the Horizon Dawn continued fighting. Watched as his ship's weapons destroyed fighters. But there were so many. For every one they destroyed, 2 more appeared. "Captain, the Council ships are pulling back," reported. "They're preparing to retreat." "Tell them to hold position," ordered. "We're not done here." "Sir, they're saying it's hopeless. They want us to evacuate our Marines and run." His jaw tightened. "Tell Ambassador that humans don't run, not when people need help." On the ground, his team reached a large building that served as a shelter. Inside, thousands of alien civilians huddled in fear. They came in dozens of different shapes and sizes. Some had tentacles. Others had wings. One species looked like living crystals. A tall alien in what looked like a uniform approached. "You're the humans, the Death World species." "That's right, I'm Lieutenant, we're here to help." The alien's skin changed colors, showing confusion. "Help, but there are too many. Everyone knows you evacuate before the swarm arrives. Fighting is madness." "Where we come from, madness is just another Tuesday," replied. She turned to her Marines. "Set up defensive positions. Nothing gets through this door." Moved through the shelter, treating wounded aliens. His medical training was designed for humans, but he adapted quickly. An alien with blue blood instead of red still bled. An alien with 3 hearts still needed those hearts to beat. "You're a healer?" an alien child asked him. At least thought it was a child. It was small and had big eyes. "That's right, little one, I fix people." "Can you fix my parent? They're hurt." Followed the child to where an adult alien lay. The wound was bad. Green blood pooled on the floor. had never treated this species before. He didn't know their anatomy, but he knew universal principles: stop the bleeding, stabilize, keep them alive. He worked fast, using foam bandages that expanded to seal the wound. The alien gasped, and their skin changed from gray to a healthier green color. "You saved them," the child whispered. "That's my job," said simply. Outside the shelter, the battle intensified. They had realized the humans weren't running. They sent more warriors, hundreds of them. Stood at the entrance, her rifle hot from continuous firing. "Reload, rotate positions, I need you up here." The medic ran forward. "I'm a healer, not a fighter." "You're both," threw him a rifle. "Welcome to Earth-style combat medicine." The charged, the Marines fired, bodies fell, and slowly something changed. They started to hesitate. They weren't used to prey that fought back this hard. They weren't used to prey that seemed to enjoy the fight. In orbit made a discovery. "Captain, I've been studying the communication patterns. They're using biological radio signals. Very sophisticated, but I think I can disrupt them." "How?" asked. "Music, sir. Specifically, heavy metal. The frequency pattern should interfere with their coordination." Laughed. "You want to blast them with rock music." "It's scientifically sound," insisted. "Do it," ordered. The Horizon Dawn's communication arrays began broadcasting Earth music at maximum volume. The effect on them was immediate. Their formations broke apart. They started flying erratically. Some crashed into each other. "It's working," shouted. "They can't coordinate." The Council ships, seeing the confusion, finally pressed their attack. Their advanced weapons tore through the disorganized swarm. For the first time in 5 years, they were retreating. On the ground, watched the bugs pull back. Marines hold fire, they're running. The alien in the uniform approached her again. "You did it. You fought and won. How?" Ejected her spent magazine and loaded a fresh one. "We're from Earth. Everything on our planet tried to kill us for millions of years. We got good at surviving." By the time the battle ended, Colony 7 was saved. Thousands of lives had been preserved because humans refused to retreat. In the shelter, aliens stared at the Marines with a mix of fear and respect. Finished treating his last patient and sat down heavily. "That was intense." "That was Tuesday," replied. On the Horizon Dawn, received a transmission from Ambassador. The alien's 6 eyes all focused on him intently. "Captain, the Council wishes to speak with you. We've been wrong about humans. You're not just survivors. You're warriors. The galaxy hasn't seen your like in 50,000 years." "We're not warriors," corrected. "We're protectors. There's a difference." "Perhaps," said quietly, "or perhaps you're both." 3 weeks after the battle at Colony 7, the Horizon Dawn docked at the massive Council station called Unity Hub. Walked through corridors filled with aliens from hundreds of different species. They all stopped to stare at him and his crew. Word of the human victory had spread across the galaxy. "They're afraid of us," whispered as they walked. "Good," replied. "Fear means respect." "Fear means they don't trust us," corrected. "We need to change that." They entered the Grand Council chamber, a massive room with floating platforms for each species representative. In the center stood a holographic display showing the entire galaxy. Could see Earth marked as a small dot in an outer arm. Ambassador gestured them forward. "Captain, the Council has made a decision. After reviewing your actions at Colony 7, we officially invite humanity to join the Galactic Council." Waited. There was always a but in situations like this. "However," continued, "due to your species' aggressive nature and death world origin, you will be granted limited membership, restricted access to certain technologies, supervised integration, required observers on all human vessels. These terms are for everyone's safety." The chamber fell silent. All eyes, in whatever form they took, watched reaction. "No," said simply. "No, An alien that looked like a floating jellyfish spoke. "You refuse membership." "I refuse limited membership. Earth has survived millions of years without the Council's help. We've built civilizations, cured diseases, and reached the stars on our own. We're not children who need supervision. We're equals or we're nothing." Another alien, this one resembling a tree with too many branches, spoke in a voice like rustling leaves. "You saved one colony. This doesn't prove you're ready for full membership." "Then what does?" challenged. "We fought when you ran, we protected when you evacuated. What more do you need?" Before anyone could answer, a young man ran into the chamber. He wore an engineer's uniform and looked panicked. "Captain, sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this." This was the Horizon Dawn's chief engineer. He was only 25, but had an intuitive understanding of technology that bordered on genius. "What's wrong?" asked. "Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. Sir, I've been looking at the Council's power generation systems, and they're so inefficient. I made a few modifications to our docking port's energy flow, and now we're producing 30% more power with the same input." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Aliens shouted in dozens of languages. The tree-like aliens' branches shook with anger. "You modified our station," demanded, "without permission." "I thought I was helping," said, confused by the reaction. An alien that looked like a mechanical spider scuttled forward. "Impossible. Our power systems were designed by the greatest engineers in the galaxy. They've been perfected over 10,000 years. A human child couldn't improve them." "Want to check the numbers?" Pulled out a data pad. "I can show you exactly what I did. It's really simple once you understand the harmonic resonance between." "Silence!" The spider alien's voice cut through the chamber. "This is a violation of council law. Technology must be approved by the Engineering Guild before implementation." Stepped forward. He was trying to help, he didn't know your laws. "Ignorance is not an excuse," the spider alien hissed. Pulled up data on her portable computer. "Actually, Ambassador's modifications have increased efficiency exactly as he claimed. The mathematics are sound. He just approached the problem from a different angle than your engineers." "Different how?" asked. "You design for safety and stability. Design for performance and efficiency. Neither approach is wrong. They're just different priorities." While the council argued about modifications, another human entered the chamber. Was a diplomatic, someone trained to smooth over political situations. She had joined the crew specifically for moments like this. "Honored council members," said with a respectful bow, "perhaps we can find a solution that benefits everyone. Modifications could be studied by your engineering guild. If they prove safe, they could be implemented across council space. Humanity would freely share this knowledge as a gesture of goodwill." "Share freely?" The spider alien seemed suspicious. "What do you want in exchange?" "Full council membership," said smoothly. "Not as subordinates but as partners. We'll share our innovations, you'll share yours. Everyone benefits." "This is unprecedented," an alien made of living crystals said. "Species must prove themselves worthy over centuries before." Alarms interrupted the debate. Red lights flashed throughout the station. Skin turned pale. They're attacking the hub world. This is their largest assault yet." The hub world was the political center of the council. If it fell, the entire galactic government would collapse. On the holographic display, could see hundreds of ships approaching. "The defense fleet is moving to intercept," reported. "But our standard protocol is to evacuate the civilian population first. That will take 6 hours." "You don't have 6 hours," said, studying this approach speed. "They'll be here in 90 minutes." Panic spread through the chamber. Aliens rushed to evacuation ships. The Council's 1,000-year-old government was about to flee in terror. "Captain," said quietly, "we could help, but our ship isn't enough. We'd need the full Council fleet." "Turn 2, "Ambassador, have you ever considered attacking the instead of running?" "Attack, they outnumber us. They're willing to die. An offensive would be suicide." "Maybe, but so is running. Eventually you'll run out of places to hide," pointed at the holographic display. "Look at their formation. They're grouped tightly because they think you'll retreat. If you attacked from multiple angles simultaneously, you could break their concentration. This music trick worked once. They're not invincible." "The Council has never launched an offensive in 50,000 years," said. "We're explorers, scientists, philosophers, not warriors." "Neither are we," replied. "But we fight when we have to. We're offering to help, but only if you commit your full fleet. Half measures won't work." The spider alien scuttled forward. "This is insanity. We'd be risking everything." "You're already risking everything," burst out. "You're about to lose your capital world. At least try fighting back." Added more calmly, "Honored Council, consider this a test. If humans and Council forces fight together and win, you'll see we can be trusted partners. If we lose, well, you were going to lose anyway by running. But at least you'll go down fighting." Six eyes closed in thought. When they opened, something had changed in his expression. "Very well. I'll authorize the fleet to follow Captain's battle plan. But if this fails, you'll be responsible for one of the greatest disasters in Council history." "And if it succeeds?" asked. "Then humanity will have earned full membership the hard way, by saving us when we couldn't save ourselves." The Horizon Dawn launched from Unity Hub along with the entire Council defense fleet. 200 ships of various designs, carrying thousands of years of accumulated technology. And leading them all was one small human vessel with primitive weapons and a crew that refused to give up. Sat in his command chair and studied the tactical display. They were coming. The Council was terrified, but he saw something different. He saw an opportunity. "All ships, this is Captain. Here's what we're going to do." As he explained his plan, he could hear the doubt in the Council captains' voices. They'd never done anything like this. It violated every military doctrine they'd developed over. But they were desperate, and desperation made people try new things. "Lean close to, sir, this is crazy, you know that, right?" "Crazy is what we do best," replied with a grim smile. Checked her calculations one more time. "Captain, mathematically this should work, but the timing has to be perfect." "It will be," said. He opened a channel to all ships. "Fleet, this is for everyone's survival, for your families, for your worlds. Today we show that the galaxy isn't defenseless. Today we fight back." The swarm approached, confident in their inevitable victory. They'd never lost a major battle. The Council always ran. But today was different. Today, the Council had humans on their side. And humans didn't run. The swarm filled like a dark cloud. Thousands of ships, all moving with coordinated precision. They had never been defeated in open battle. The Council species had always chosen evacuation over confrontation. But today, 200 Council ships held their position, waiting. "They're confused," reported from her science station. "They expected us to run. They're slowing down, trying to understand what we're doing." "Good," said. "Confusion is the first step to defeat. Are all squadrons in position?" "Confirmed, Captain. All Council ships are following the flight plan, though half of them are panicking on private channels." In one of those ships, Commander gripped his command console with clawed hands. He was a reptilian from the planet, a world the Council classified as Class 4, safe and stable. He had been a fleet commander for 20 years and had never fired his weapons in anger. "This is madness," he muttered. "We're supposed to be scientists, not soldiers." His tactical officer, a younger named, spoke up. "Sir, the humans seem confident. Maybe they know something we don't. They're from a death world. They're probably insane." But even as said it, he watched the Horizon Dawn on his tactical display. The small human ship sat at the center of the formation, steady and unmoving. Still, Insanity has gotten them this far. In another section of the fleet, pilot sat in the cockpit of his fighter. He was one of 6 human pilots who had launched to provide close support. His fighter was fast but lightly armored. One good hit would destroy it. "All human fighters check in," he said over the radio. 5 voices confirmed they were ready. They were all young, all volunteers, and all completely terrified, but they'd trained for this. "Remember," continued, "we fly like we're still back home. Aggressive, fast, never in a straight line, make them work for every shot." "Easy for you to say," one pilot responded. "You've got ice in your veins." "Not ice, just really good focus." Checked his weapons systems one more time. "Besides, if we die doing something amazing. Not many people can say that." On the Horizon Dawn, Sora sat at the intelligence station. She was analyzing every piece of data about the communication patterns. After the battle at Colony 7, she'd been studying their signals obsessively. "Captain, I've isolated the command frequency," Sora reported. "They're definitely using a hive mind system, but there's a central coordinator ship. If we can knock that out, the entire swarm will lose cohesion." "Can you identify which ship it is?" asked. "Working on it. It's hidden among the regular fighters, but it's broadcasting on a slightly different frequency." Sora's fingers flew across her keyboard. "Got it. Sending coordinates to tactical now." Studied the data. "It's in the middle of their formation. We'd have to go through half the swarm to reach it." "Then that's what we'll do," said. He opened a fleet-wide channel. "All ships, this is Captain. We've identified the command ship. When I give the signal, the fleet will split into 3 groups. Alpha group attacks from above, Beta from below, Gamma straight through the middle. Hit them from all sides at once. They're not used to coordinated attacks because they've never needed to defend against one." Commander listened to the plan and felt his hearts beating faster. All 3 of them. This violates every defensive doctrine we have. "Then maybe your doctrines need updating," suggested quietly. They began their attack run. They accelerated, confident in their numbers. Their ships bristled with biological weapons that fired acidic projectiles. Each one could melt through normal armor in seconds. "Hold," commanded, "hold." The distance closed, 500 kilometers, 400, 300. "Now, all ships, execute attack pattern Delta." The Council fleet exploded into motion. Ships that had sat still suddenly accelerated in 3 different directions. The swarm, unprepared for such coordinated movement, scattered. And his fighters dove into the chaos. "Human squadron, follow me. We're clearing a path." His fighter twisted and spun through the formation. Alien ships tried to track him, but he never flew straight. Roll, dive, climb, spin. He'd learned aerobatics as a teenager back on Earth. Now those skills kept him alive. "Got one," another pilot shouted as her missiles found a target. "Stay focused," ordered. "Don't get cocky." The Council ships pressed their attack. For the first time in years, they were taking the fight to the... And it was working. The bugs couldn't coordinate against multiple attack vectors simultaneously. Commander watched in amazement as his weapons tore through armor. "Target their propulsion systems. Keep them from regrouping." "Yes, sir." His tactical officer worked with new energy. "Sir, we're actually winning." "Don't jinx it," growled, but he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. The Horizon Dawn pushed through the formation toward the command ship. Fired continuously, clearing a path. Explosions lit up space around them. "Hull breach on Deck 3, reported. Damage control teams responding." "Keep going," ordered. "We're almost there." Sora tracked the command ship. "It's trying to retreat. They know we're coming for them." "Don't let it escape," leaned forward in his chair. "We need fighter support at these coordinates." "On it, Captain," fighter screamed through space, dodging weapons. He could see the command ship now. It was larger than the others, covered in strange biological antennae. "All fighters, focus fire on that big ugly one." the 6 human fighters converged on the command ship. Their weapons weren't powerful individually, but combined with the Horizon Dawn's firepower, they were enough. The command ship exploded in a brilliant flash, and instantly the entire swarm lost cohesion. Ships drifted aimlessly, others crashed into each other. The hive-mind connection was broken. "It worked," shouted. "They're completely disorganized." "Council fleet, press the attack," commanded. "Don't let them regroup." What followed was less a battle and more a rout. The Council ships, emboldened by success, tore through the confused. Commander found himself shouting battle cries in his native language. Around him, his crew worked with an efficiency they'd never shown before. "This is what fighting feels like," said in wonder. "This is what it means to not run away." Within an hour, the swarm was destroyed. Survivors fled into faster-than-light travel, retreating for the first time in their history. On the Horizon Dawn's bridge, the crew sat in exhausted silence. They'd done it. Against impossible odds, they'd done it. "Casualty report," said quietly. 12 Council ships damaged, 3 destroyed, reported. "But we saved the hub world. We saved billions of lives." A transmission came through. It was Commander. "Captain, this is Commander of the Defense Fleet. I must apologize. I doubted you. I thought humans were reckless and violent, but you're not. You're brave. There's a difference." "Thank you, Commander," replied. "And Captain, my crew and I would be honored to serve alongside humans again. You've shown us that sometimes the right choice isn't to run. Sometimes you stand and fight." More transmissions came in. Dozens of council captains, all expressing similar sentiments. The humans hadn't just won a battle. They'd changed how the galaxy thought about conflict. Then a new transmission overrode all others. It was from the mothership, far away from the battle. A massive creature appeared on screen, a nightmare of chitin and organic technology. "I am Warlord," it said in a voice like grinding stone. "You are the humans, the Death World species." "I'm Captain," he replied carefully. "You defeated our swarm. This has never happened before. We believe only the strong deserve to exist. We attack other species to test them. All have failed, until now." "So what happens now?" asked. Many eyes studied him. "Now, human, we must understand what you are. You fight like predators. You refuse to yield. You protect those weaker than yourselves. This makes no sense. Predators don't protect prey." "We're not predators," said. "We're survivors, and survivors help each other." "Interesting," said. "Perhaps we have been wrong about the nature of strength. Perhaps we have been wrong about many things. This conversation is not over, human. That will be watching Earth. We will learn from you, and then we will decide if you are worth respecting." The transmission ended, let out a long breath. Was that a threat or a compliment? "Both, I think," said. Stood and looked out at the stars. They'd won the battle. They'd earned the Council's respect. But the real challenge was just beginning. The galaxy was watching Earth now, watching to see what humans would do with the power they'd claimed. "Set course for Unity Hub," ordered. "We have a lot of talking to do." 6 months after the battle at Hub World, the galaxy had changed. The Horizon Dawn returned to Unity Hub, but this time, Earth sent a delegation of 50 people. Scientists, engineers, diplomats, and even a philosopher named. They came not as visitors, but as equals. Walked through the council chamber with beside him. The philosopher was older, with gray hair and thoughtful eyes. He had spent his life studying human behavior and culture. "Captain, I've read all the reports," said. "You've accomplished something remarkable, but now comes the harder part. You won the war, now you must win the peace." "Any advice?" asked. "Remember what makes us human. It's not our weapons or our tactics. It's our ability to adapt, to cooperate, and to imagine better futures." The Grand Council chamber was full. Representatives from all 247 member species had gathered, but today a new seat had been added, a seat for Earth. Ambassador called the meeting to order. 6 months ago, humanity saved the hub world. Since then, we have observed human behavior carefully. Human engineers have improved council technology. Human doctors have revolutionized medical techniques. Human farmers have increased food production on 20 colonies. And perhaps most surprisingly, human negotiators have resolved disputes that have lasted centuries. Stood at the diplomatic station, smiling slightly. She had been busy. Her approach to negotiation was simple: find solutions where everyone benefited. The council had spent thousands of years assuming every negotiation had winners and losers, showed them that both sides could win. Today, continued, we vote on granting humanity full council membership. But first, someone has requested to address us. A holographic projection appeared. It was Warlord, the leader. The chamber fell silent. Fear rippled through the alien representatives. "Do not be afraid," said. His voice was calmer than before. "I come with a proposal, not a threat. They have attacked your species for generations. We believed only the strong deserved to exist. We believed weakness should be eliminated. Then humans defeated us. They showed us strength we did not expect. But more importantly, they showed us something we did not understand. After the battle, human ships helped rescue survivors. Human medics treated our wounded. This made no sense. Why help your enemy?" On the Horizon Dawn's medical bay had argued with about exactly that. "Sir, they tried to kill us. Why should we save them?" "Because that's what makes us different," had replied. "We don't fight because we hate. We fight to protect. Once the fighting stops, we help. That's the human way." Now's image continued. "I consulted with our elder queens. We studied human history, and we discovered something remarkable. Humans once domesticated their predators. They took wolves, animals that hunted them, and made them companions. They call them dogs. This concept is revolutionary." Smiled. He had suggested someone send the information about human-animal relationships. "The proposed peace," announced. "But not just peace, partnership. We are warriors. We are strong, but we are not wise. Humans have shown us that strength without wisdom is meaningless. The Council has wisdom but fears conflict. Together we could balance each other." The chamber erupted in debate. Some species were terrified, others were intrigued, but noticed something important. They were talking, not running, not panicking, actually considering the possibility. "This proposal is unprecedented," said once order was restored. "We must consider carefully." "Consider while we address another matter," a voice said. It was the human terraforming specialist. She was young, brilliant, and had ideas that seemed impossible. "The Council has classified 147 worlds as uninhabitable. I've reviewed the data. With human techniques, at least 90 of those worlds could support life." "Impossible," the tree-like alien from the Engineering Guild said. "We've analyzed those worlds for thousands of years." "You analyzed them based on what your species needs," replied. She projected data into the chamber. "Humans evolved on a Class 12 death world. We can survive in extreme conditions. We can teach other species how to adapt. More importantly, we can modify environments that you consider hopeless." She showed images of Mars, Earth's neighboring planet. Once dead and dry, humans had begun the slow process of terraforming it. Green patches were appearing. Water flowed in carefully managed channels. "You're turning a dead world into a living one," an alien made of energy said in amazement. "This should take millions of years." "It'll take us about 200 years, said with a shrug. "We're impatient. We don't like waiting for natural processes when we can speed them up." Appeared on another screen. He was in an engineering bay, covered in grease and grinning. "Also, I've been working with Council engineers. We've designed a new power system that's 40% more efficient than the old one. And before anyone asks, yes, it's been fully tested and approved by the Engineering Guild. We followed all your protocols this time." The human showed us that sometimes breaking the rules reveals better rules, the spider alien from the engineering guild admitted grudgingly. His approach to problem-solving is unconventional but effective. Watched as his crew and the Earth delegation presented their achievements, discussed new scientific discoveries, explained improved security techniques. Commander even spoke, praising human military thinking. Humans have given us something we lost, said. Courage. Not the courage to attack others, but the courage to stand for what's right. The courage to fight when fighting is necessary. My crew trains with human Marines now. We're learning that strength and compassion aren't opposites. They're partners. Finally, was invited to speak. The old philosopher stood before the entire Galactic Council and smiled. Honored members, he began, you've heard what humans can do. You've seen our technology, our tactics, our achievements. But let me tell you what humans are. We're a species that looked at the stars and refused to believe they were unreachable. We're a species that faced extinction dozens of times and kept surviving. We're a species that learned our greatest strength isn't our weapons or our intelligence. It's our ability to cooperate. He paused, letting his words sink in. Humans didn't conquer Earth alone. We domesticated plants and animals. We formed communities. We built civilizations through cooperation. When we met you, the Council, we didn't see enemies or competitors. We saw potential friends, potential partners. They attacked you for generations. Your response was to run. The human response, help them change, show them a better way. That's not weakness. That's the strongest thing anyone can do. Change hearts, not just win battles. So when you vote on human membership today, remember this. Humans don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to explore it with you, learn from you, teach you, grow together. The universe is vast and full of wonders. Isn't it better to face it together than alone? The chamber fell silent, then slowly stood. All 6 of his eyes were focused on. Captain, the Council has made its decision. But first, I must ask, if granted full membership, what will humanity do with this power? Considered carefully. We'll do what we've always done. Explore, learn, protect those who need protection, make mistakes and learn from them. We won't be perfect. No species is, but we'll try to be better every day. And we'll do it alongside you as partners. Then let the vote begin, announced. One by one, species voted. Some voted yes immediately. Others debated, then agreed. A few voted no, still fearful of death world humans. But in the end, the result was clear. By a majority of 223 to 24, humanity is granted full membership in the Galactic Council. Welcome, humans. Welcome to the galaxy. The chamber erupted in celebration, not just from humans, but from Council species who had fought alongside them. Commander roared a battle cry. Other aliens made their own sounds of joy. Negotiated the treaty terms on the spot, trade agreements, technology sharing, cultural exchange programs, military cooperation, and most importantly, the peace agreement, would bring his species into the Council as protectors, warriors who fought to defend rather than conquer. It'll take time, Image said. My people are slow to change, but humans have shown us it's possible to be strong and kind. We will try. As the official ceremonies continued, found himself standing with his crew, Sora, and the people who had changed everything. We did it, said softly. We really did it. We showed them what humans can do, agreed. No, corrected. We showed them what everyone can do when they work together. That's the real lesson. 20 years later, stood on a viewing platform at Unity Hub. He was older now, retired from active service, but he still visited the station regularly. He liked watching the ships come and go. And what ships they were. Mixed crews of humans and aliens. Council technology powered by human innovation. Exploration vessels heading toward unknown regions of space, not to conquer but to discover. A young woman approached him. She wore a Horizon Dawn uniform. Captain, I'm Lieutenant. I command the Horizon Dawn now. The new one, I mean. She's bigger and faster than yours was. I heard, said with a smile. Where are you headed? The Andromeda Galaxy. We're the first expedition to attempt the journey. Mixed crew of 20 species, including 3 warriors. Scared asked. Terrified admitted. But that's part of exploration, right? Going into the unknown. That's exactly right. Looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth continued its journey around the sun. Humanity had spread to dozens of worlds now, but Earth remained home. Take care of her. The Horizon Dawn, I mean. She's more than a ship, she's a symbol. I know, sir, the ship that changed everything. No, said, echoing words from long ago. We're the people who changed everything. The ship just got us there. He watched as the new Horizon Dawn departed, carrying a new generation of explorers into the unknown. Humans and aliens working together, learning together, growing together. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders. But for the first time in 50,000 years, the Galactic Council wasn't facing it with fear. They were facing it with hope, human hope. The stubborn, persistent, impossible hope that had carried humanity from caves to the stars. And the journey was just beginning.